Hey, there's Catherine. Where's Jill and where's Ran? Okay, so the first move. Again, let's look at the old Chin Village style of this, and I want to talk a little bit about what you are doing with your energy body when you do this. And anyone who's in the earlier class will recognize a lot of this because it's very, very similar. All right? Let's just simplify it. All right? Where should my chi be? Kevin, where should my chi be? Well, yeah, a little bit, but in my trunk, where is it?
And John,
Uh, Not really. It's going to be in the Tanjon, but it's not right now. All right? When you do this, it's in your back between your shoulder blades. All right? It's just like the move that we did in the earlier class. All right, the Qigong move. All right? Now it's back between my shoulder blades. All right, so I'm actually in my Ming Mun, and the chi holding up my arms is back between my shoulder blades. Now, in just a second, it's going to go to the Tanjon. That brings it to the Tanjon. Boom.
that was the first time I felt it being my shoulder blades.
Good. All right. Lower back, center chest. Lower back, center chest. Lower back, center chest. Lower back, center chest. All right. And now you just relax down, right, into the Ming Mun again, and you push out. If you're going to push out, something has to go in the opposite direction. For every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. All right? So relax. As you push out, you go back into the Ming Mun and back, and even out further. So this whole little routine here is an exercise in, for every action there must be an equal and opposite reaction. All right? So you're using the energy body to create the reaction that will create the action, if you see what I mean. All right? If I want to come out in front like this, then something needs to go on in the back. That's why my chi is in my back right now. You can try this yourself. Try it with your chi in front. It feels stupid. I've just done it so long, it just feels stupid. It will unbalance you. Now everything's in front, not just your arms, but the weight of your body. Everything's in front, and you're sort of tipping over frontward, right? Oh, and there she is. Oh, she's growing up. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. Hi. We're doing some Tai Chi. You should jump in. I think that was a little no.
Maybe a little too early to start.
Maybe a little too early. Maybe a week or two, but
Yeah.
in another week or two.
Yeah, I'll be back in a sec.
Oh, she's sweet. Okay, so when you're out in front, something has to be in back. So you use the energy and a little chi in your dumai in the back. All right? Boom. And that's down in the lower back. Then when you bring your hands in, you have to switch the dumai from the back to the front. All right? And so that's going to activate the Renmai, and especially the Tanjong. Lower back, center chest. Now, when you want to get ready to push out, then you need to drop from the Tanjong back to the Mingmen. Mingmen, Tanjong, Mingmen, push. All right, is that plain? All right, every single Tai Chi move works that way. All right, it's always that way. So this is a real fundamental principle. If I'm going to do, here I was pushing out like that. Suppose I'm pushing like that. It's exactly the same thing. All right. Center chest, and now lower back. The reason I can snap some energy out is not because I'm using my arms, a little bit, right? It's because I'm snapping the energy from the Tanjong to the Mingmen inside, all right? I'm going to be Tanjong, and then I'm going to snap it down here. That's what makes it happen. All right? Now, if you're good at it, somebody watching you will not see how you're doing it. They're not going to understand. All right? So I'm giving you all the secrets, the true secrets of Tai Chi. Right? All right? In the Dumai, and the Mingmen, in the Renmai, and the Tanjong, sink back to the Dumai and the Mingmen, and now you activate that energy. It's going in both directions. The power in the move does not come from the arms. It comes from the control of the trunk that I just explained, right? Okay, let's practice it a few times. Very simple. Now, what determines the move is the Xin Yi, is understanding what you're doing. So I showed you guys that little video yesterday. I think Catherine, you didn't see it, but it's a guy doing a solar plexus punch with 2 fingers, right? 2 fingers into the solar plexus, like that. And the guy he does it to hits the floor really fast. It's a very dangerous move. You can actually hurt somebody that way. So don't do this at home, kids. But that gives you the target. Okay, I'm targeting right here, right? This is the Tanjong. The place he was targeting was a little lower, right? You can feel on your own chest here. You can feel, if you push in there, you'll feel a little arch there, right? We're not on the arch, but right below the arch, like an inch below the arch. All right. Boom! You hit that spot. If you hit it right, the guy will probably go down. All right. So this is your target. That's your Xin Yi. Okay, once you understand the Xin Yi and you get a basic idea of the outer physical choreography, then you work on the Ne Gong. And the Ne Gong is everything I just explained. it's more than that, but it's at least that, right? So what am I doing? Well, I'm in my lower back, and now I'm in my center chest, and now I'm in my lower back again, and then, as this shoots out, that shoots out in that direction. Boom. Okay, now you've got the basic Qigong. All right. There's one other thing that I want to mention, and that is a little control of the Chongmai, the central column. So we've talked about the Renmai in front and the Dumai in back. This is the one in the center. Watch the top of my head. All right? It doesn't go down. It's not like this. That means if you think of this as a bow and arrow, the bow doesn't break. The arrow flies, but the bow bends, and then when you let go of it, the bow extends again, up and down. That's what shoots the arrow. And that's what I'm trying to get at here, right? You're bending the bow, and now the bow is going to straighten up again.
Malcolm,
Yeah.
I think there also in that analogy, like in that analogy, usually like if you're using a bow and you like and the bow isn't straight ahead, then they'll just like the arrow will go to the ground, right?
Exactly.
I think it's the same thing. Like I do this, but like if your body is like going forward instead of like staying there, then obviously you're going to the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you could end up shooting up into the air, for instance, if you go like this, right? You can think of the whole trunk of the body as the bow. So one end of the bow is at the perineum, the other is at the crown chakra. And when you pull the bow, right, that's like this. Right? I'm pulling the bow. When I release the arrow, right, it's going to go back up. Pull the bow, then it goes back up. Now, someone who's really good, who's had a lot of experience with this, you won't see much on the outside. They're partly doing it with their physical body, but what they're really doing it with is their energy body. Right? One side of the energy body is the energy, and the other side of the energy body is the mind itself. So this is mind training, mind and energy training. Oh, and then the physical body too, yes. But that's not actually the primary thing. So what we've talked about is the Xin Yi, which is the mental intention, and the Neigong, which is what you need to do with your energy body in order to accomplish your intention. When you do this move, there are three general ways that people do this. One way is to use open palms. And not aim for the solar plexus per se, but just for the chest, right? Just for the big muscles on the chest. That will push somebody back without hurting them. You could hurt them, but if you push relatively gently, you won't hurt them. Another way is a little more aggressive, all right? Watch. So instead of open palms, you use double fists. All right? And then the way we do it when we practice is with the tips of the fingers. Very gentle. So the guy we watched yesterday on the video was doing a finger strike, just using two fingers. You could do this with two fingers. We can do it with all four fingers. You can do it with one hand. You can do it with both hands. You can do it into the muscles of the chest, so you won't kill the guy, but you'll probably make him go, ow. All right? Or you can go straight into the solar plexus. I like going straight into the solar plexus because if you watch various masters do this, you'll see different things. What you'll often see is this. All right? I like to do it more like this. Not here, here. Just a little more focus on the Shin Yi. Okay, so you get the Shin Yi, and then you practice the Neigong, right? And then Master Zhang used to say, once you get all that, once you understand all that, then leave the martial stuff behind and make this into a Qigong. Okay, I understand what the target is, but I'm not going to focus on the fierceness. Old Chen style is kind of fierce, all right? Don't focus on the fierce martial side of things. Relax. All right? You're supposed to become calm when you do this, not get all excited like you're going to get into a fight or something, right? Just relax. And you begin to feel, oh, okay, what I'm practicing is this flow. That's what you're practicing, is the flow. But just as with the Qigong in the earlier class, you have to know what you're doing or there's no flow. You know, when we were doing that earlier, right? Without the instructions, what happens, as we say, take that move we worked on earlier, right? Is people just go like this. But there's nothing going on. And so it's not really Qigong. It just looks like Qigong, but it's not actually Qigong. Qigong is a form of meditation and contemplation, right? Oh, I should be in my back, right? And now up in my Tanzhong. And then it relaxes back into my lower back. Tanzhong, lower back. Breathe in, breathe out, neutral. Breathe in, breathe out, and so forth. It's not that complicated, and it works exactly the same in every move. Right? In some moves are a little more complicated and include a few more things, but it's basically that simple pattern all the way through. So that pattern that we just learned in Qigong is exactly the pattern you use for the first move of the form. Which is why Master Zhang used to say, if you can truly get the first move with what's going on, actually get it, you will get all of Tai Chi, because it's all there. Let's go on. Okay, let's analyze that. So the first circle, spiral, is a reverse Lee circle. This now is a forward Lee circle. There might be a million ways to do a forward Lee circle. This is one particular way to do it, and we'll talk about why that is. Right? But the first reversely circle, you flip the dantian over backwards, turns backwards. Now it's going to turn forward. So first you turn it back, now you turn it forward, all right? That's just pure Qigong. Right? It's pure Qigong practice. Turn it backwards, turn it backwards, turn it backwards, right? Turn it forward, turn it forward, turn it forward. We have an exercise that we do every morning, and I just call them belly rolls, right? Belly rolls. It's focusing on between the two, the thoracic and the pelvic diaphragm, right? So you're rolling them, but you actually physically roll them. So Kevin said something to me a few months ago that was interesting. I think he was just watching the class or something, and he said, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but what I heard you say was, oh, you're actually coming up the back and going down the front, or you're coming up the front and going down the back. So you're actually doing it. It's not just a random kind of roll. You're coming up the dumai, about to the level of the solar plexus, a little bit lower, and then you're going down the renmai, under the crotch, up the dumai, through and down the renmai, right? You're rolling it, rolling it, rolling it, rolling it. Well, that's just a dantian roll, right? What you're really doing is rolling the dantian either forward or backward and paying particular attention to the lumbar area of the spine and to the tailbone, which often gets kind of numbed out from sitting in chairs all the time, right? So what you're really doing is flexing the lumbar area and the the tailbone by rolling the dantian. Now I just colloquially call it a belly roll, but it's not. It's really a dantian roll on forward. This is the same thing. Roll it backwards. Now roll it forward. When you roll it forward, you also want to change the direction of the microcosmic orbit. Right? This is a small ball. The microcosmic orbit is a much bigger ball, encompasses your whole trunk. Right? Now that whole ball is going to roll forward. Right? You can think of the dantian as the engine, right? And it gears in to this much larger circle. So when you roll it forward, it gears in and it automatically rolls the microcosmic orbit forward. If you're not aware of it, it kind of doesn't work that well. All right? I was going to say it's half-assed, but it is sort of half-assed. Right? So you become conscious of it. Oh, now, yeah, all the way up my spine, down my front, up my spine, down my front. Everything's rolling forward. Look at my knees and ankles. Right? Why are they moving? It's because everything's moving. Right? Once the center starts to move, everything follows, or should follow. Right? Okay, so what are you doing? Well, you could be thinking of this as a form of what's called psi energy, plucking energy. Right? So you're reaching up, let's say, if Kevin was standing here, I might reach up over his shoulders and then pull him down. Not with my arms, but with my trunk, my whole body. Now, the transition between those two moves is very important. Everybody, I'm going to guess, every one of you has been to an ocean beach. Is that correct? Ran, have you been to Ocean Beach? Catherine, have you been to the ocean beach? When a wave comes in on a long shelving ocean beach, it doesn't come in 3 feet and then stop and then turn around and go back. It comes in and very, very, very slowly it runs up the beach until all its energy is expended. And once the energy is expended, it slows to a stop, and then the weight of the water begins to carry it back out. It's a
Well,
certain
Malcolm,
kind.
that's because the ocean has been practicing for a long time.
It's been practicing for billions of years, and it's gotten very good at it, right? Watch. Watch my trunk. Watch the timing on this. My hands are going forward, my trunk starts to go back, and then it pulls my hands backward. Right? It's not this. Right? There's no transition there. Right? Watch my hands continue to go forward while the core of my trunk begins to go backward. Watch. It's going forward, but my trunk is already starting to move backwards, and eventually it's going to pull it back. You may also notice that I'm actually coming up a little bit. Watch. That's the end of the movement. Now comes the transition. It's like my hands are floating upward, and then my trunk pulls them back down again. Let me do it from the side. There's the end. Here's the transition. And there's that move, right? Transitions are really important. Now, why is it a transition? It's a transition because I'm trying to communicate to you. I don't think about it as a transmission when I do it. I don't break my Tai Chi up into little bits and try to do the little bits correctly. But you will have to do that. There's no other way to get it. How do you eat, and Jill, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time, right? So here's one bite. Here's a second bite. Here's a third bite, right? One bite at a time. But once you get the bites, once you know what you're doing and you figure out how to power that with your physical, mental, and energetic bodies, then forget about the bites, all right? Then you just flow. When you start to flow, I'll get you in a second, Kevin. When you start to flow, what you begin to pay attention to is your breathing and just this feel inside. It's like water. It's like flowing. It's like currents of water. And that's what you're actually practicing. Right? You don't think about all the fierce martial stuff. You don't even think about the Xinyi and the Neigong anymore because you've already got it. Right? What you start to think about then is just the feeling. Do it. Watch my heels. Watch the heels of my on my right side here. Watch. Boom. Kevin.
Malcolm, I have a question about that. Doesn't
Yeah,
like
go
raising
ahead.
your heels unground you? Like, aren't you, I don't know, going too high?
You should be able to do a flying kick with nothing touching the ground and still be grounded. You should be able to. You won't be able to at first. So questions like that, yes, it's going to make you feel a little bit ungrounded. So then you have to ask yourself, why do I feel ungrounded and what can I do about it, right? So I'm coming up, right, on the balls of my feet. Right? What does that tell you? Something's coming up. What else needs to happen? Something needs to go down, right? What's going to go down? What's going to go down? Some chi, all right? Chi is heavy, wants to go down, all right? Now, you can't push all your chi down because you're going to need some of it, but, all right? This is a little bit of what's called Shuling Dingjin Chichen Danchen. This is the Chichen Danchen part. All right? Drop your chi to the Danchen, which is a code for dropping it into the ground. All right? Shuling Dingjin means your spirit goes up. Chichen Danchen means your chi goes down. So those are both going on at the same time. One, even though my physical body is coming up, my chi is going down. When Annie was not feeling well a couple of years ago, I don't even remember where we were, but there was somewhere we had to go up a flight of stairs, some like office building or something. And she was getting a little dizzy. She was not comfortable. She was getting a little dizzy. So I told her, put your mind on the bottom of your feet. And she went, oh, that's much better. It's the same thing. Something was going up those stairs, something else needed, but she was feeling ungrounded, just like Rand was saying. Put your mind on the bottom of your feet and it will stabilize you. Yeah, Jill.
Just that question is that, so spirit can go down as well? So like if you raise your chi, then you drop your spirit?
No.
Yeah, I
When
didn't
you
think so.
when you raise your chi, you have to keep the majority of it in your dantian.
Okay.
If you watch, in fact, do the. I'm going to really bug Kevin because I'm going to go ahead and do an experiment here right before I get to him. All right, do this. This is a very good experiment. Right, bring all your chi up into your chest. How is that? Nice and comfortable? No, of course not. It's awful. When you raise your chi like that, what it does is it presses your diaphragm up, so it makes it very difficult to breathe. It also presses into your heart, so now your heart has to labor in order to pump the blood around, and you're going to feel very top heavy, and it'll even make your head swell up, and it's like you're getting a headache or something. Don't do that. It's not good for you. If you need to bring a little chi up into the chest, just think of it as a little bit of what is in the Dan Chen coming up. Not all of it, for sure. Okay, we got to get to Kevin before he has a heart attack. Yeah, Kevin.
I was so the whole area, the tailbone lumbar area, the Mingmen. What's your advice for people like me that area doesn't move because of back problems and etc.?
Well, some people have had spinal fusion, where literally a portion of the spine, often in the lumbar area, either that or up around the chest area, or sometimes in the neck, has been fused, and they literally cannot move it. So you just have to do the best that you can. Be gentle with yourself and try and actually do the exercise, but do it very gently. Don't, whatever you do, here's the most important thing I'm going to say today, guys, seriously. Don't force it. Never force anything in Tai Chi or Qigong. So if you have a really stiff lower back, right? You're trying to force it to move, force it to flex, you're just going to hurt yourself. Right? Just do it very gently. Right? Do it, if I'm doing it like this, then you do it, half that or even a quarter of that. Just a gentle motion. The thing in the West, we try to fix things and we tend to think physically. So we're going to fix it by physically doing something. In China, they think about when there's a problem, you're not going to fix it physically, you're going to fix it energetically. So moving the energy through, even though it's very gentle, is the beginning of healing that area. And it might take 2 years, it might take 20 years, but whatever it takes, just keep gently moving the energy through there. It may be that if you've had an injury or an accident or something, that you never return to being 18 years old again. Now, I can guarantee you I'm probably not going to. You're going to have to deal with that for the rest of your life. But it can be really bad, or it could be a lot less bad. And I would choose a not quite so bad. Right? Just gently move the energy through there. Boom, like this. You'll get some physical motion too, but it can be very gentle so that you're not, you're not re-traumatizing that area. Does this answer your question?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, when I first started with you, I couldn't move that area at all. Now, what I'm getting is maybe 3/4 of the ball feeling. And it's that last part that gets you to be able to do the whole circle. It's not in my mind. I know it's moving, but because of all the nerves and everything that have been screwed with, I can't feel it moving.
Okay, well then, what I would advise is that you keep a picture in your mind of the full circle and just assume, even though you can't feel it, assume that the energy is going in that full circle, because the energy, I can guarantee you this, the energy will go where your mind goes. So it's true you can't physically sense that in this case. Nevertheless, if you have the picture of the full circle, right, and even though you can't feel, you only feel 3/4 of the circle, just make the assumption that the final quarter is actually happening, and just practice that, right, very gently. And it's kind of flying blind in a way, but I think a lot of healing does start with flying blind. When I started with Master Zhang, I had questions, and it wasn't just me; it was all the other guys too. It's like, is this Dan Chen thing he's talking about, is it really real? Well, what about Qi? Is that really real? And you sort of have to take it on faith at first. The reason that we took it on faith with Master Zhang is he could do things that other people couldn't do. And he would say, well, it's because of this or that. and you'd go, well, okay, I don't understand this or that, but I can see that you're doing it, so there must be something going on there, and I'm interested in learning it. So gradually we did. And what you find out is you actually can't put this stuff in words. We don't have a real vocabulary for this. So we borrow bits and pieces of vocabulary from all these places, try to stitch it together in a way that will make some kind of sense to people. But I'll tell you what will really make sense is experience. You have to experience this yourself, and then you will understand. All right? And it's not, you know, people, there's a lot of woo-woo Qigong out there and woo-woo Tai Chi. It's not woo-woo. When you feel it and realize, you go, oh, okay. Yeah, it's just something that human beings can do, but we've had it trained out of ourselves. Or maybe we've never trained ourselves into it, but it's something that you can train yourself into, and you really can notice and feel it. All right? Like what I explained today about this. It's just physics. There's nothing woo-woo about it. If you are pushing hands with someone who's very good at it, it's going to feel like woo-woo because they have trained themselves to be very smooth and very efficient. And they can make you do things with a tiny little motion of their own body. Not because it's magic, but because they've trained in it. I will close with this. I was watching some hip hop dancers on YouTube last night. 20, 30 years ago, hip hop dancers were, you know, they're really good, right? You know, they're doing their stuff. Now they are amazing. What these kids can do is really Olympic level gymnastics. It's astounding what they can manage. Well, how did they get from there to there? Practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Everything they're doing is just physics, but they've trained themselves to the point where I'll look up one or two. We'll watch them. We'll watch them next week. It's just a human capacity, and they train up and they can do these things. I couldn't do any of those things. Not a chance. Maybe next time. Next time I'm going to be a hip hop dancer. Okay, guys, you have yourselves a good day. We'll pick it up there next weekend. Ciao.